Hey guys, meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this mountain weather update. This is the On the Snow, Snow Before You Go forecast. My first stop, water vapor satellite imagery, storm system inbound. And you can see the spin right here crashing into the west coast. This is the one that's going to move down through the interior states. Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, Montana on 125 and 126. So that's the storm system on the way. And there's another one behind it for the west coast in a few days after that. All right, let me take you into my bullet points here this morning. Here's what I'm thinking. So this storm system, the timeline will run 124 through 126. You can see the timeline for Utah, Wyoming, and Colorado. And then after that, we're going to get this brief high pressure ridge, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, 127 through 131. Not much is going to happen across the Intermountain West, and it's really going to warm up. The storm systems that arrive will hit the west coast and kind of stay there and be directed up into BC, and that's really going to push the snow levels quite high across the west coast during that time period. Then the pattern shift. Big trough of low pressure, strong subtropical jet, overrunning snow across the west, possible that first week of February. So that's something to look forward to, first week of February. In the northeast, you've got some light snow accumulation, but changing to rain, 125 and 126. A possible storm around 128 appears to have shifted south of the major ski areas for now. All right, let me take you to my spider chart. Odds of best snow next 7 days. So that's the Wasatch. That's the Tetons. That's parts of Colorado as well. That's definitely Washington State and BC, but at higher elevations. You have to go to higher elevations. Those are the areas with more purple, higher on the spider chart, like Whistler, Blackcomb. Just keep in mind, though, you're going to have to go to higher elevations to get the best snow. It's going to be pretty warm during part of this period. All right, so let me just show you what the forecast radar and satellite looks like during this period. So by the time we get into Thursday morning, this is the situation. Storm system comes out off the west coast, moves in with a shield of snow through Idaho, Tetons, Wasatch, and eventually moves into Colorado during the afternoon hours. There's 125 at 4. Here's 126. Snow continues Colorado to Mexico, and then low eventually moves away late on 126. Now we're into that brief ridge of high pressure, 127 through 131, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico. Not much happening, and it's very warm during that period. All the moisture is being directed into the west coast and especially the Pacific Northwest and BC during that time period. Now let me take you beyond this and show you what it could look like after the pattern shift. This is the forecast radar on 2-2. That first week of February, you can see what happens. The door swings wide open. We may have widespread snow. We're not talking about Arctic air here, but it will be a few degrees cooler. This will help to bring, once we get this big trough in, it will help to bring some of the temperatures down a little bit, but it's not going to be like that storm cycle we had with Arctic air 2 weeks ago. But at least there's something there. As far as the jet pattern, so this is 125. You can see the trough and that storm system swinging through Utah and Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado, New Mexico. Let's go out to 127. It's gone, high pressure ridging across most of the Intermountain West. Everything is reloading and it's a waiting game. Now, by 2-2, it's totally different. You've got a storm system, a trough of low pressure, you've got jet support with overrunning moisture across most of the West. But again, no Arctic air, but at least there's something here. This could be a much more active period. Let me show you my grand totals, and this is the map I put on the snow for the update today. This is 125 through 21, grand totals. Potentially 6 to 12, and that happens mainly on 125 in Little Cottonwood Canyon. 5 to 10 in Big Cottonwood Canyon, 3 to 6 Park City, Deer Valley, and Snow Basin. In Colorado, anywhere from 1 to 8 inches. Again, you'll get 1 to 4 on the 25th, 1 to 4 on the 26th. I'll break it down by time period coming up. And a lot of that snow you see in California happens after 131, once the pattern starts to shift and we get that big trough that moves in. Some pretty nice snow up in BC at higher elevations. Again, higher elevations in Washington and also Oregon. Sun Valley, a lot of that snow comes 131 and after, once we get that rich flow. So throughout the main time period, it's kind of a 2 to 6 inch snow through most of Idaho. All right, let me break it down by time period. So 124 into 125, you can see the snow that accumulates. Tetons, Wasatch, Colorado. Here's the time period immediately after that. 126 through 128. Storm system shifts to the east, a little bit more snow in Colorado and New Mexico. Then it really dries out. So this is 129 through 131. Not much happening across the Intermountain West, and a little bit of snow begins to start up, especially late in that time period through California up towards BC. And then here's a much more active time period. So this is that first week of February. You can see the snow expands across the west, including the Intermountain West. Let me take you to the Northeast. So this is 125 through 131. I really don't have much. You're going to have some light snow changing to rain on the 25th, rain on the 26th, potentially a little bit of snow on the 28th, but that storm is kind of trending south. And then you're going to have to wait until after the 1st of February to get anything else appreciable into the to the Northeast. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this On the Snow Before You Go forecast. Thanks for tuning in here, and take care.